But as a couple months went by, my shoes are here. I'm so excited. What was I saying? Dang, got distracted by my shoes. Hi you guys, my name is Karina. Thanks again for joining me. It's the second part of my testimony on how I came to Christ. And I want to go in this, for this video, I want to go in as to what happened after I came to Christ. I won't go into too many details, but I do want to, kind of explain a little bit about my experience after accepting Jesus into my heart and into my life. So, as I said in the first part, I came to Christ through my ex's mom. She took me to a women's conference, and I accepted Christ there. Honestly, I think I accepted Christ a few times during that time frame. Just making sure that Jesus was in my heart, I wanted to go into a little bit about how I started feeling once I accepted Christ. Was there a change? Did anything happen? I feel like a lot of unbelievers might be like, just because you say a little phrase and accept Jesus in your life, like, is that really going to change your entire life? I have to say that somehow, yes, it did. After accepting Christ into my heart, I feel like I went from seeing no light at the end of the tunnel to just seeing, I was hopeful. And honestly, at that time, I was hopeful that my relationship would be fixed, that he would fix our relationship, and that we would be getting back together. I did want to mention that because I know some people, after a betrayal, their first instinct is to run from it, or maybe, you go to your friends and they tell you, girl, you need to leave him, stuff like that. And sometimes maybe that's just not the case. Like, maybe it is restorable. God is God of the impossible. He is the God of miracles, and he can restore a relationship. So don't take my testimony. No, disclaimer. Don't take my testimony and run with it. Just take it as an encouragement. If you're in the same or similar situation, if something happened and you're able to restore your relationship, your marriage, especially in marriage, then I say you go for it. I mean, why not? You're in a marriage covenant. Try and find a resolution. Yes, after accepting Christ, I was hopeful. I was willing to fix the relationship, to try and restore it. And as my pain was still there, the pain didn't change, but I had someone to hold on to, and I held on to Jesus for dear life. And when I would cry, it was different. It was different because I would cry, getting emotional. I wasn't alone anymore. I had someone to really hold on tight to when I cried. And even though he wasn't physically there, it didn't matter because I knew he was there. It was the weirdest thing because it's not like he's physical. He's not someone that's tangible, that you can physically hug and cling on to, but he's there. He's there, and you hold on to that hope, onto that love, onto that name, Jesus, when you come to Christ, especially when you're in that place of desperation. You're desperate, and And I was desperate. I wanted the pain gone. The pain didn't leave. It actually took a very long time to go, but it was different. I mean, everything was different. The pain subsided, and honestly, just learning or getting to know God, I mean, it was amazing. Hearing the voice of God, seeing what power He has, and the amazing things that He does for His children. That definitely redirected my mind. It redirected my heart. It redirected my focus. And so, yes, just saying that little phrase that holds so much, the most important phrase you ever say, that ever comes out of your mouth, that can change everything for you. That can change everything for you. Trust me. But it's also not just it coming out of your mouth. You got to believe it in your heart as well. So okay, so now I want to discuss a little bit about how a couple of stuff that I went through when I found out about the betrayal. Like, as I was writing my notes, I was asking God, really? Like, you really want me to talk about this? But it is for His glory. It is for His kingdom. It is for all of you who are watching, that will relate to this, that I hope this helps. When I found out, there was a time, like, I was having conversations with this woman for a period of time. I remember not really disrespecting her. Like, I feel like you guys are probably thinking like, oh hell no, I would have da 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 da, and just whatever, take that route. I definitely didn't do that, and I hated myself for it. I wish I was that kind of bold person at the time that would just let her have it, just tell her exactly how I felt. Everything that would come to mind, everything that I wanted to say, I never said. I didn't have the boldness, I didn't have the courage, and I hated myself for it. I hated myself for it because I felt weak. I felt like a weak person. I felt, I don't know, all I could think of is just weak and stupid at times, I guess. I never said anything that I regretted. I never said anything that would necessarily hurt her. I hope not. Honestly, if she's watching, if I ever did say anything to hurt you, I apologize. I know that hurt people. And although I was hurt, I don't believe that I was vocal, and what's the word? Intentional. I wasn't intentionally hurting vocally. And so I hated myself for it at the time. Now I'm very much grateful that my mouth was kept shut. As low as you may feel, as hurt as you may feel, as weak as you may feel, not expressing yourself the way you wish you wanted to or could or should, whatever the case may be, just know is better off this way. It's just better off this way. And yeah. Anyway, so as you just saw, I did talk about me having conversations with this woman, back and forth conversations for a while. Now, these conversations went on for a while, and I felt the need to come back on here, not because of, okay, so I honestly can't remember how long the conversations went on for, but I tried to stick around and make this relationship work. I stood by another 6 months about. It was the most difficult thing ever. The thing was that she was still around. She was still around, and as one would blame the other party, it wasn't the other person's fault. Ultimately, okay. Thinking back at where I was at that time, I did not value myself. I didn't. I really didn't. I didn't see it. I was blind. And I kept making excuses for him. I kept trying to put a reason to things. And at the end of the day, he never gave me my place. And if she didn't leave us alone, it was because he never told her to leave us alone. He never stepped up and defended our relationship. He never gave me my place. And that is something that the Lord did remind me. I completely forgot about that. And that was something that I would talk to him a lot about. I would throw it in his face. And I completely forgot about it. So as he reminded me of that, I just a lot kind of came flooding in. And I have to say that, generalizing it, whether it is male or female that you were cheated on, honestly, take a step back and analyze what's going on. Analyze, is this person really trying to fix the relationship? Is this person truly repentant, truly sorry for what they did, or were they sorry to get caught? If someone is truly sorry, they're repentant. And if they're repentant, they let go of what they did and they move forward. So look at your situation. Does that person continue to go back to the other party, to the other person? Or did they put you first? Did they put an end to what was going on and they're putting you first? If this person continues to go back to the other party, the third person, then you need to take a look at yourself and honestly put value on yourself. Place value on yourself. You are valuable. You are valuable. You are worth so much. So much. You are worth more than rubies, the word says. And if he or she is not putting that value on you, you need to put it on yourself. And I'm speaking to the person that is hurt. I'm speaking to the person that is broken, because in general, yes, we should all put value on ourselves. We should value ourselves. But in a time like this, we don't. Some people do. You need to take a look at the relationship. Take a look at what they're doing to make things better and what you're doing to make things better. If they didn't give you your place, they didn't place value on your relationship, and they continue to go back to who they've been cheating on, or even maybe it's somebody new, maybe they're a serial cheater kind of thing, then place value on yourself and walk away. It's time to walk away. I'm speaking to, it's very tricky, like, again, with marriage. Even, again, like, just place value on yourself and walk away. It could be something temporary. It could be something permanent. Who knows? But you might have to just take that step of faith. And that is something that I felt the need to come back on here, because that was something that I didn't see. I couldn't see it. I kept making excuses. I would take his words, like, love is action, not words. You could tell me anything you want. If you don't back it up with your actions, then what do we have? Nothing. Words are dead. So I am sorry if I'm being very blunt, if I'm being very but I'm trying to remember if somebody was like that with me at the beginning. Probably. I don't remember. I'm sure they were. I wasn't listening. You don't listen to the people that love you the most. You just don't. But yes. So just had to say that. Let's continue with the video. I really jumped on here because there was a couple things I wanted to say. I was having lunch with someone close to me, and they reminded me of something that I said back when this whole thing happened. And she had no idea that I was working on my testimony. She had no idea about the YouTube channel, nothing. So I believe that this was God reminding me of that because it's so important. She said, what did she say exactly? She said, I still remember that day that you told me. And I stopped her because I was like, oh Lord, what is she going to say? And I told her, if you're going to make me cry, like, I'd rather you not. And she's like, no, I have to say this. I was like, okay. So she said, I remember the day that you told me and yeah, like I completely forgot about that. She said, I told her, I don't think I can live without him. I'm sure a lot of us feel that way. And her telling me really brought back, that time. Like, it just, like, I couldn't right now, who I am now, can't believe that I said that. I mean, I remember thinking and feeling that way because he was all I knew. Like, when she told me that, I was like, wow, thank you, God, for reminding me that that's where I came from. That's how low I felt, that I was, I let a man define who I was. I let a man, he was my life. I have to say, her reminding me of what I said and kind of analyzing how I feel now. Like, you see me crying. I even have to take this to the Lord and figure out exactly what I'm feeling. But it's more of a wow. Like, I can't believe that my life revolved around him. That my life revolved around him. Like, it was all him. And now God is making sure that my life, like, that it's him only. Like, it's Jesus only. That my life shouldn't revolve around anybody else besides God. I think that's how you say it, right? Yeah. That he's the one that occupies my everything. So I wanted to say that because I know that I'm not the only one that feels that way, that there's plenty of people that feel that way, felt that way. And it's difficult. But you will get through. They're not it's not the end of the world. I know that it's very easy to say, but when you're in that moment, it definitely feels that way. And you will survive without this person. Whether it's a he or a she, you will survive without this person. And you will become a stronger person because of the situation. So just hang on tight and cling on to Jesus. The other thing I wanted to kind of talk about was something that kind of, I don't know. I was watching, I was editing, and I know I say that if you're able to restore the relationship that you should. And I just want to clarify that the relationship I was in, it was, I don't even know what healthy means, but there was no physical abuse. There was no like mental abuse or verbal abuse. There was none of that. It was for almost 14 years. I wanted to restore the relationship. There's some relationships that maybe God is trying to get you out of. I trust that He will put it in your heart, but it's one of those things where we need to step out in faith and do it. But if it's a fairly healthy relationship and both of you are willing to put in the work and wanting to restore the relationship, then why not? Then why not do it? Again, especially if you're in a marriage covenant. If you're not married, then maybe it's something to pray about. Maybe it's a not right now. Maybe God is trying to separate you two for the time being, work on you two individually, and He will bring you back together later. You don't know. We never know the Lord's plans. And I know that's something that I kind of held on to for a little bit. And I went with it until one day, literally, I can't even explain it, but there was one day that I just felt as if the Lord was right in front of me saying, do you want your ex, who possibly won't change, or do you trust me? That's literally what I felt inside. Like, this is, yeah. And I decided to trust Him. And that is the day that I completely let go of anything. And I just said, whatever His will is, that's what it's going to be. So, yes, the more you get to know God, the more you trust Him, the more you know that He has amazing things for you. So I've pretty much said everything I had to say for this video on how I came to Christ. I really, really hope that my testimony comforts someone, that if you haven't given your life to Jesus, I strongly recommend that you do. Only He will heal your heart. And although time heals all wounds, it doesn't mean that they heal properly. Only Jesus can heal wounds properly. And I pray that you give Him a chance in your life, that you give Him a chance to work in ways that you could never even imagine. I hope that this is not a stumbling block for anyone. If you take something and it makes you feel some type of way and you get confused, please reach out to me. Please leave a comment, leave me your email. I will have my email down below where you can reach me. For whatever reason, if you want to contact me, I will leave my email down below where you can reach me. And yes, I will be praying for everyone watching this video. God bless you guys. I thank you for making it to the end. I thank you for coming back. If you're back, if you are here for the first time, then I will link my first part of the testimony down below. And yes, that is it, you guys. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to Jesus. I'm honestly I'm grateful for everything that He's doing. He's amazing.